What if the only thing is stopping you, the idea that you don't know everything that you need to? Then what happens after only more time goes by and you're looking back, realize that you still didn't learn the thing that you needed to get going? Suppose rather than having wait till you had everything all figured out, suppose you just waded out into the water and little by little just started to figure out how to swim. Those occasions where we look back and we think how fast time just whipped by us and we're standing in the new now, and we assess all the things that we didn't do, that we anticipated that we'd have done, and all the things that we put off because those things weren't in order. You know, there's so much that you don't know at any given time that this notion of wait until you know everything seems to be something of a cinder block tied to your waist. So if you're anything like me and you're tired of putting things off, you're tired of waiting for the perfect moment, and you're coming to terms with the idea that you're going to have to learn on the job, and I'm sure there will be one or two takeaways that we both can walk away with from this discussion that we'll be able to apply and will lend to us being able to reframe the way we're looking at things so that we can get to the action of making progress as opposed to just anticipating the idea of progress. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua. I'm working on building a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, about freedom, and about liberty. This channel is my artist channel, and I use it to help promote the songs. I like to make these videos to discuss what it takes to get anything done. So whether you're a builder or a designer, an artist, a musician, someone starting their own business, we all face the human challenges of getting ourselves up to pace and acclimating ourselves, onboarding the characteristics that are necessary for success. So what about you? You know, what is it that you're working on? I have my goal. It's very defined for me. There's so many questions in my project that I don't have all of the answers to, and it's a constant learning process. And speaking from my own experience, if I were to just keep putting off getting to it, I would be a 70-year-old man launching my channel for the first time. So I am the king of waiting for things to be perfect before getting to them, and that certainly is true for not feeling like I know how to do things. Even for me in this YouTube channel, it's a vital part of what it is that I'm trying to do. You know, in whatever business that you're doing, you want a customer, and if you're an artist, you want somebody to appreciate what you did, or you want it to at least have some impact, or whatever it is, the value you're getting from that artistic endeavor. And for me to be writing the songs, going into the studio, working endless hours to get them recorded and captured, and walk out of that effort holding something that I'm very proud of, only to look to my left and the right and realize, wow, I have this work that I was so passionate in creating, but I don't have an audience to appreciate it. So then we go into a time of consideration in terms of how do we do that? And there is so much that I don't know in this pursuit. A little while back, I was scrolling through some content on YouTube, and I noticed some video of someone pouring concrete, and maybe the title of the video is something to the effect of they having it started from nothing only 6 months before to have built themselves a profitable concrete business without having any prior knowledge in that. And I guess what they were doing was more of the decorative style concrete people do around their homes, maybe beautification types of work, whether it's a sidewalk to the house, to the front door, or a new driveway or something like this. And this story really resonated to me because it was very inspiring that this person had, in their free time, rallied up a friend or two. They had done one job like at cost so that they could show what they could do if somebody needed to look. Whenever they priced examples, they gave pictures off of the internet and to show what it would look like, and then they just went and did it. And this individual had booked work for he and his crew on their off days, and he just kept going and going and going and learning as he went. And it's the sort of thing where I'm not encouraging you to be an idiot and make sure that you're insured in whatever that you're doing and don't cause yourself a pile of headache, you know, but there's something that's very inspirational of him just taking the bull by the horns and making something out of nothing, even aside of the fact that he didn't have any idea what he was doing. And granted, it's not going to work out for everybody, but if you don't get into the habit of pressing go, then where are you going? So I think at a starting point, we can assess, you know, what is the big picture of what it is that we're doing? What is the big picture of what it is that we're interested in? You can look at that for yourself and you can say, what is it that I'm trying to do? What do I want to do? And where's the information that I could get right now in order to start to make the ball roll? Then if you start with that, then the very next step will be keep up with the ball. I mean, if you look across every industry and every trade, all of the innovation comes out of things that are learned as we go. So as long as you've protected yourself and protected whoever it is that is trusting you to complete a job well done, and as As long as you are a competent person, then go ahead and get to doing. What about you? What is it that you are trying to do or you'd like to? And what could you do today that would get the ball rolling and give you a chance towards what you'd really like to accomplish? I suppose the next big question would be, where can you find the answers whenever the questions come up? Part of doing anything, especially when you don't know what's going on, is finding some very good source information before you jump into it, at least in terms of the resource of it. And while you might not have it all committed to memory, you have gone ahead and cataloged your resources so that way you can easily access the information that you need. And then there could be other people that you could reach out to and connect with, whether it may be a local clerk or some online personality who's constantly updating resource on the topic that you're interested in. By connecting with these people and cataloging the resources, you start to build up that safety net that when you do get into a tight spot, you can reach out and work your way through it, especially if you're in sort of a time is of the essence kind of a circumstance. For me, I'm building this channel in order to promote my songs. There's all kinds of questions in terms of how do I make content for my music channel. And I spent the better part of a year going about everything in sort of a hit or miss way because the nature of the information is a little bit more unreliable. So eventually I went ahead and sought out some help in order to help me to sort out exactly how I could go ahead and make content here on this channel to bridge all of the things that go into my music. Because my music is like populist activism music. It's about freedom and sovereignty and keeping our countries not beholden to some technocratic AI, enslaved to AI and all of the digital ID trappings. But the core of what I'm doing and who I am is a person working towards his goal in a relentless and a deliberate way. And while I see issues in the world that are concerning to me and I want to discuss them, if those issues were calmed down, then my tendency would be just to be a motivational person. But then knowing just how exactly I combine that into one sort of a channel, how do I do it? I have no idea. So do I sit and wait and try to learn what the answer is, or do I get to the doing and just revise as we go? As I mentioned before, I decided to contract with the coach for a little bit of time to see if I couldn't get some help into better understanding how I might approach this. And even with having the coach, I realized that I'm still in this all on my own. And I'm sure you know what that feeling is like, because the coach can offer advice and say, on this hand it's this, and then on the other hand it's the other thing. And that's where it really illustrates the point of, even if you know something, somebody who has achieved something in the area that you're trying to do, and they may not have all of the answers as it relates to you. And while that may be great for you to have that kind of support, you're still going to have to rely on yourself to learn as you go. And I think that's just true in all situations. It's just life, isn't it? Sometimes in order to make all of these online niches and online areas of expertise, we just muddy up the water so much when everything really comes down to it's just the nature of how things are. There's something you want to do. There's an apple in the top of that tree and I want to get my hands on that apple. I'm going to have to figure out how to get up there. And I think that's really what it is. It all probably comes down to that question of motivation and how motivated you are to reach your goal. And, that will really define whether or not you're able to do it. And I say all of that to say that that's probably the real litmus test on you being able to do whatever it is that you're claiming that you're interested in doing. Because if you have the motivation to climb that tree and get the apple, then you're gonna. But if you don't, then you're not. So then it's not gonna matter if you try to understand how it is that you need to progress your way up there or not, because you don't have any real intent of making your way in that direction. So all of that is to say, you can sort of let your passion guide you, and then assess yourself that you do have some passion for what it is that you're doing. Because if you honestly answer that you don't, then just save yourself all the trouble of kidding yourself. And don't kid yourself, because you're never getting up that tree. Not because you can't, because you don't want to. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with you. You don't need to go up there. Some of us have a compulsion to do something. We need to do it. And the purpose of this is to be of some encouragement to my brothers and sisters out there who are working to something, who are in the same kind of daily struggle that I'm in. And I just want to remind you that life is what you make it. And if you make it an adventure and you make it a challenge for yourself, and it will be riveting and exciting. There'll be ups and downs, and it will be thrilling. And at the end of the day, we all learn as we go. And the further that I get into today's discussion, the more clear I am that the idea of learning as you go, in terms of it being a topic of discussion, just seems to be a little bit entirely too obvious. But here we are. At least we've come to the realization together. You tell me what you think below. Don't waste your time putting off getting to the start by telling yourself that you don't have all the knowledge that you need. Just start in the places that you feel safest and most comfortable to get yourself started. Again, like I said, before I worried about social media, I just focused on getting a couple of songs finished and a couple of songs recorded, which all of that work was inside of my wheelhouse. I was able to do all of that before I got into the weeds, so to speak, and having to deal with the things that I really don't have any clue on how to go about making them work for myself. But I'm gonna learn as I go, and this channel is gonna evolve as I go. And if you stuck it out with me to the end of this, I appreciate that. Hope that I can count on you in the future to hold me in account, and I'll be here to hold you in account. In the meantime, if you hadn't had a chance to listen to my new song, you can listen to it here. So you keep your head up, and I'm gonna keep mine up, and we'll talk again soon.